Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Selena Heiliger from Granite Advance, and I'm joined by my wonderful friend Lily O'Connor. And we are going to present you with some information about exploring careers and majors. Um, I know you're probably asked a lot as you're getting up there in your high school years, your high school career. What do you want to do? What do you think you're going to do? What do you want to study? That can come at you from all different angles, from family members, from friends, from teachers, right? It seems like a really heavy decision that you have to make, but I'm hoping at the end of this presentation, Lily and I have convinced you that, yeah, it's an important one. And when it comes, it comes. But there's a lot of information and a lot of interest and a lot of things that are going to happen over your years in college that are going to make that decision a little easier as you get going. So if you didn't know that you wanted to be a dentist in third grade, that's okay. Most people are figuring it out. Like I studied something completely different in college than what I'm doing now. So there's a lot of other aspects of life that'll come at you, but just know that by the time we're done with this, we're hoping you're going to feel a little more okay. Your shoulders are going to come down a little bit, and you're going to feel a little more comfortable with the fact that, careers and interests and aptitudes are all just one big swirling picture of what it takes to ultimately figure out what you want to do.
So who we are a nonprofit here in the state. So we're a free resource for all New Hampshire residents, regardless of age, background, interest, and career pathways. This is our team here. So you might see us this fall in your high school. You might have maybe saw us this spring, but we are here to help you through this journey. And as Lena said, this is just one little webinar, but we will be helping you throughout the whole journey. So we hope that you can continue to use us and hopefully, again, find this information helpful.
So paths, everyone has a different path. Everyone has a different way they're going to get there, right? So there's no right or wrong way to do it. You may get a lot of information and advice and counseling from family members and people that love you and care about you and want you to do well, but just know that your path is your own. So how do you begin this reflection on what it is you might want to study in college? Well, let's kind of take a step back and realize who you are and what you've become so far. You're going to be probably starting your senior year, and the classes that you've taken in high school, the classes that have really meant something to you, that you've walked away and said, man, I really learned something, or I had fun knowing about that, or I didn't realize I'd have so much fun learning about this biology or science or English or whatever the case may be. So kind of think about those, take that time to reflect on the classes that you've enjoyed, because that certainly makes it easier for you to go, if I'm enjoying it, maybe I want to learn more about it, right? Also think about the classes in which you've performed well. They may be showing you an aptitude, an ability, and skills that you have. So maybe you are at that kind of STEM. Maybe you are really good in science or in math or engineering, or maybe you are an amazing artist, right? Or you have an analytical brain that you can understand and analyze, like, English and other subjects like philosophy, things like that. So, kind of lean into the ones where your grades reflect maybe natural abilities that you have, and see if those are things you might want to continue to study while you're in your post-secondary pathway. Learning about things in high school can be very limiting, right? You can only take so many classes in a certain kind of math, or so many classes in a certain kind of science. Maybe you really love the environment, but there's not a lot of environmental science classes in high school, right? There's only so limited offerings that are available to you. So know that when you get to college, if you have interests or passions and other things you want to learn about, you're going to have a much broader opportunity to take classes in those subjects and really hone in on what it is you like about this. What is that passion? Where's it going to take you? What do you want to do? Maybe you want to study medicine in some way, or healthcare, because you like helping people, but you're not really taking that many healthcare related classes in high school, right? It's just not really offered. But once you get to the college level, you might have an opportunity to explore and understand where that interest can lead you. And over time, you may find that that path may wiggle a little bit, and that's okay too. But just know that these are some really good ways for you to start thinking about who you are, what you've leaned into, what makes you happy, right? What have you come out going, oh, that's really cool. I'd like to learn more about that, right? It's a great way to kind of start getting some of those answers for yourself. Applying undeclared. Now, there's some people that will tell you if you are undeclared, then, you know, you're going to get behind, or you're going to just have a harder time figuring out what you want to do. But many students do not know. Like I said, they want to be a dentist in 3rd grade, and they've got it figured out, and they know exactly where it is they want to go. The ones that do, kudos to them. They have a path. It's going to be great. They know exactly what it's going to take, and they've probably already figured it out, and they probably already have a job lined up with their dentist whenever they graduate, right? But but a lot of students, guys, most of the students going into college, almost good half, if not more, aren't sure, and it's okay. The nice thing about it is when you're undeclared, you get to explore, right? You have people at a college that are ready to go with undeclared majors. They are ready to help you maybe mix things up, pick a variety of different classes. You're going to have to take gen eds anyway, but at least you're not going to be able to learn about a lot of different things and lean into some classes that you're like, I've never heard of this before, but why not take it, right? When I was in college, everyone had to take like that English and the science and the math. You're kind of starting over and taking some of these general education, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I took a class called linguistics. Didn't know what it was. It was fascinating, right? It's about the way language is written and how it's pronounced, and it's sort of a universal language, if you will. So it was kind of a neat, different English sort of class that I had to take. So, just know that when you get to school, you have people that absolutely know how to help you start sampling and like taking experimentation classes, if you will, that could, certainly satisfy your general ed requirements, but also, open your eyes to some new ideas and new things. So being undeclared not only will not hurt your chances of getting in, it's going to be an okay process, right? So.
And with applying undeclared, most of the time you will have a different advisor than once you switch to your major. So that advisor is dedicated to help you find the right major, work through different courses to take. And most of the time at any college or university, you don't have to fully declare a major until the end of your sophomore year. So it's okay to, as Selena was just saying, take a few tester classes, see if that's something you truly want to major in, and you have plenty of time to do this. The only time that it might hurt your chances of going in undeclared would be if you're looking at some of those really competitive majors. Nursing is one of them, kind of anything in that healthcare realm, and engineering as well. If you are thinking about those majors, definitely talk with the admissions counselor at the college and see what is the best chance of if you go in undecided versus going into that major. And they might have a different opinion on that just based on how many seats are available in that program.
Great point, Lily. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for you to take also these gen ed classes, which can also even use it as a tool. Raise your GPA, take another math, take another English, take another science before you're diving into that major class, so that you're comfortable as a co-ed. Your first year, you're getting used to this whole new lifestyle, right? So there's nothing wrong with getting those general education classes, so you're getting used to what professors are looking for, right? And they're not that high pressure class that's like, oh my gosh, here I go, I'm going to be an engineer, I got to start taking this CAD, and I got to start taking this drawing, and I start taking this physics and this calculus and all those heavy sort of major based classes. So general education at the beginning is really a good way to transition yourself in getting used to the demands of college, how to advocate for yourself, a lot of other aspects of who you're going to start becoming by being on campus every day and gaining that independence. Keeping an open mind is really important as well. Don't go in worried, go in excited, go in with like, I'm ready to explore. I'm ready to learn more about myself. I'm ready to see how this life works, right? And knowing that a lot of people go in sometimes with a major, or they make that decision and then they're going to change, because maybe they're going to go from, I think I wanted to study special ed, and now I want to be a behavior analyst. They're close, they're similar, right? But as you start taking classes in a certain major, sometimes you realize, I just learned about something amazingly new and different that I didn't realize existed, and now I want to kind of pursue that. So, 80% of college students are going to change their major at least once. I did
too. Twice.
So, I know it's heavy, right? Because college is not cheap. It's a big investment in time and money, and we know that. But know that you have so many classes that you're going to be taking, so many semesters you're going to be there, that and so many people you're going to interact with, and professors, and conversations that are going to happen that could open your eyes. So, as long as you believe in yourself and you're applying yourself and taking it seriously, switching majors is just a part of what happens for some people. Like I said, unless you know exactly what you want to be since you were in third grade, or you declared a major and you are now in there and there's a scholarship and there's a real strong path because you know you wanted to be an astrophysicist and you want to be on the moon, right? That's a solid goal. Then there's no wavering from that. And there's very specific pathway for you, and the classes are going to be very specifically designed for you. And that's great. But for many students, it's just starting down the path and knowing that if it's okay, you're going to be okay. Your advisors are there to support you. Your family can be there to support you. And if you're just finding that passion is bubbling up inside of you, then, go with that gut, right? That feeling of, all right, I just felt like I went from engineering to economics, completely different spectrum, but I just knew where my heart was taking me, and that the way I was looking at numbers and the way I wanted to utilize them and the way I understood them was very different in economics than it is with calculus and other numbers, in engineering. So once I learned that, everything went great, right? Like it was just like, okay, I am where I'm supposed to be, where my brain works and my skills and the things that I like to talk about and figure out. So just know that it can happen to you, and you want that to be a great experience for yourself, because sometimes switching that major can just really send you forward in a really positive way, especially for the time and money that you're there.
And don't be scared to use your academic advisor or, the career counseling center on your campus. You are paying for this as part of your tuition and fees. So reach out to them. If you're not feeling good in your major, things just aren't clicking, set up those meetings. You're going to have at least 2 a year, but you can have more if things aren't working out or if you just want more information. So don't be scared once you're in college to use the resources that are there for you on that college campus.
That's a great point. So there's majors and then there's majors, right? There's majors like I want to be, like an astrophysicist, very specific, right? Or I want to be, a certain kind of medical profession. I want to be a surgeon, right? Or I want to be a certain kind of a, international business. And you're going to take classes that are all leading towards that goal of getting that knowledge about the industry, knowledge about yourself. But there's some majors that are kind of not generic, but more broad, like business administration or communication or psychology, right? These are broad terms. You're going to learn a lot about different aspects of this major, and you're going to study a lot of different things. But just because you're taking psychology and you want to major in psychology doesn't mean you're going to become a psychologist, right? Lay down on the couch, tell me your problems, right? Here's a prescription, right? Or engineer. If you say you want to be an engineer, there's like 52 different types of engineers. And you may say, I want to be a mechanical engineer, but then you may switch to industrial engineer by the time you're done. Or you may be, a civil engineer, and then you decide, no, you want to be more of a structural engineer, right? So there's a lot of different options. And the cool thing about that is these broader majors will open your opportunities up to have a lot of different career options. So if you think you want to go into accounting or you want to start your own business, it's a great idea to study business administration. So if you have an idea for a business, you know how to run it, you know how to do profit and loss statements, you know what costs and benefits are, you're getting that experience to help you achieve that goal. Is there a major called I want to be an entrepreneur? Probably not. But this is where you can take and study certain things and have a certain major that has a completely different goal, but it supports where it is you're trying to go, right? Think communications. You communicate every day, written, expressed, all kinds of ways to communicate. So knowing different forms of communication, you can take that understanding with you and become a marketing expert or a public relations person or someone that's running a social media page, right? Or you work for Instagram, right? There's a lot of different things you can do with certain majors that will hone into a lot of options for you, which is nice, right?
And I think there's a lot of fear with going into some of these broad majors too, and not always knowing what that job is. And as you're starting to meet with different professors and taking classes, different pathways and doorways might open that you can then say, wow, I never even thought I could do this with a psych degree. Or, it's easier to say, oh, I'm going to school to be a nurse. I'm going to become a nurse. I have a job already. But gives you a lot of flexibility and freedom to really decide what you want to do in your life. And maybe then you can add in those passions and interests that you might have in a career and in a major that you decide that is broader, that gives you a little bit more flexibility with your classes.
Yeah, absolutely. My son started college as a history major. I was like, that's pretty broad, right? Okay, are you going to be a history teacher? Are you going to be a history writer? Are you going to be a historian? Do you want to work in a museum, right? He's always loved history, right? Social studies was his jam. He remembers everything he's ever learned. So when he started, I was like, all right, well, it's a passion of yours. Let's see what happens, right? And then he started taking writing courses in English, and then ended up switching his major to like digital studies and journalism, basically. So yeah, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to write the next great novel about the Civil War, but history teaches you about people and how, things repeat themselves and how people think and talk and feel. And, he just felt that was a really good background for the writing that he's doing. And now he's in marketing, right? So you never know kind of where it's going to go and how you're going to squish your interests and your abilities together and find that next career. But it's certainly different than maybe what you are studying, or you don't maybe see that direct connection. But for many people, they find that wiggle and they make it work, right?
And again, once you're on your college campus, you'll also have that advisor to kind of work through these ideas and kind of help process that. But also, if you are realizing that maybe the school doesn't have the direct major that you're looking for, there are other options to create a major that better suits what you're looking for. This is called interdisciplinary studies, and this will be offered at most colleges and universities, where maybe you're looking for like adventure ed, or you kind of want psychology too, and kind of building some kind of adventure therapy major, or international business, things like that. You can also create your own major. So there are so many options out there. So again, keep an open mind through this process and really just explore, those natural things that you're good at and interests that you already have.
That's a great idea. So think about this. If you say, I wanted to be a teacher, right? There's teaching degrees. You can get a bachelor's in teaching, and in the state of New Hampshire, you need to get a bachelor's to become a teacher. Then you have to get certified and take certain tests. And so it's a specific process. But you think back into, I want to be a teacher. Okay, well, there's a lot of different teachers. So you can be a special education teacher, or you could be a secondary teacher, which is like, high school. You can be middle level education, or you can do early childhood education. If you were to choose special education, you could become a general special education generalist, or you could hone in on very specific types of special education certifications and extra classes to get specialized in things. Secondary education, teaching at the high school level, you would then kind of want to hone in, what do I want to teach? Do I want to teach history, math, science, humanities? You're going to have to take extra classes and learning how to teach that, not just the process of learning how to become a teacher and how people learn, right? Middle level education, early childhood. Early childhood can be pre through K. There's developmental aspects of as kids are growing. So when someone says, I want to be a teacher, know that once you're in college, you're going to have the opportunities to kind of hone in on, well, where do I want to specialize? What level do I think, what age group of kids am I most comfortable with, right? You're going to get exposure to those kind of ideas. Same thing, like, I want to be in healthcare. There's 85 pathways in healthcare, right? Do you want to be a pharmacist? Do you want to be someone that is running a hospital, like an administrator? Do you want to be a surgeon, but you can't stand the sight of blood, right? There's ways to be in medicine that aren't necessarily what you think of doctor or nurse as well. So know that if you have just a general broad idea, once you're in college and you're meeting with people and taking classes, again, you may open your eyes and go, I know exactly where my talents are. And I know that, yeah, I want to be a hospital administrator because I think differently. I want to make people feel better, but I don't need to be that direct person, but I want to manage it and make sure healthcare system is improved and it's got to change, right? So maybe you have a mission that, you know, we got to work on the healthcare system in America, right? Or something like that. So this is where that kind of combination of interests and passions can maybe come together, right? In a major you didn't even know existed.
And colleges, as we've been saying throughout this presentation, will have people to help you through this process. Once you decide your major, again, it's pretty easy to change. If you want to stay in your major, that's good too. Like, you will get support from the time you enter college until you graduate. And that's really up to you to kind of max out that opportunity and have these meetings and go to the college and career fairs. But just know that there is support every step of the way, and they're going to help you. And if things aren't going right, there's someone there to help say, hey, let's take a step back. Let's see what we're interested in. Let's take a semester to figure this out. So just know, again, keep that open mind when going into college, and just know you're paying for these resources. So definitely take advantage of them, ask questions, go to meetings, really just take full advantage of your time at your college or university.
That's a great idea. So you're going to go into college, 17, 18 years old, right? You're going for a 4-year degree. You don't believe how much you're going to change in 4 years. It really is amazing. Your maturity level, your understanding of people, because your interactions with other people, the independence that you're gaining, your communication and problem solving skills, all these things you might not even see yourself changing, but trust me, your parents, your friends, your relatives, others will notice that, you know, just there's this whole other thing that's happening to you, this just maturity that's happening while you're studying and while you're figuring out who you want to be, and while you're having this great experience. And know that the college experience isn't just about what did I learn about math? What did I learn about, you know, nursing? What did I learn about teaching? What did I learn to have these skills, and what that occupation requires for job tasks, and you know, what my day-to-day is going to look like. You just grow as a person as well, and you grow with your interactions with each other. And so there's a lot of other things happening besides just what you're studying, right? You're learning so many other transferable skills that are really important for you to carry through your life, right? We know you're doing it now in high school. You're very different now than you were as a freshman, correct? Think about who you are, what you look like, how you literally physically change, how you're emotionally changing, and, you know, the things you know that you will put up with, don't put up with, the drama you like, the drama you don't like, all these aspects, right, of how you're seeing your parents and your siblings and interacting with your friends. You've grown, whether you've sort of noticed it or not. So take a reflection on that as well, and know that's going to continue on. And so there's a lot of opportunities at the college level to gain additional skills besides just what you're studying in your major, right? And those are really going to become valuable. Employers want amazing people that have a group of skills. So yes, if I'm a psychology major, or I'm a communications major, or I'm a sociology major, or even if I'm an engineer, it's not just what I studied in how people think, like psychology, what makes people tick. It's how else have I grown, and what are the skills? Many employers just want transferable skills that are social skills, that are those soft skills that you're also getting from the experience in college, right? Working on teams, being flexible, adjusting, you know, taking leadership in your own life, right? Making those decisions. I have to do this, but should I do that? Well, they're telling me I should go here, but I know I have to study for a test, right? All those things you're going to face, those challenges that are going to just improve who you are. And those skills, trust me, are going to come forward when you're looking for your first job, and you're going to start interviewing, and your employers are looking for these other skills. They can teach you hard skills. They can teach you the things you need to do in your job, especially when you're a first job right out of college. They're looking for people that have that confidence and those other soft skills that are already there, and they can then work with you to teach you how to become the best teacher, or how they want you to teach in their school, or how they want you to be the ER nurse, you know, in this hospital, right? How their processes work and their communication. They want you to be open to things like that. So as much as we talk about college and your major and your career, there's things that are happening that in the skills that you're developing that are really, really important. And that it's evidence that employers are really looking for the kind of learner and worker that you're going to be, not just what you got upstairs, right? In your major.
And this is done outside of the classroom for most of this. Yes, you're there for school, obviously, to get your degree, but you spend so much time outside of the classroom as well. To just know, like, you are, maybe again, you don't realize you're working on these skills, but you're having group projects, you're figuring out time management. For a lot of you, you know your day starts at 8 o'clock, you're done at 2, then you go to sports. And now you're in class for maybe 2 hours a day and having to figure out, when am I going to do my homework? I have a big project the next week. So that's exactly what jobs will look for, as we just said, and it's a really great experience to learn this. And again, a lot of this comes from not only being in the classroom, but outside of the classroom at college as well.
Yeah. So we wanted to show this slide to you because we really kind of like it a lot. You're developing interests, you're gaining interests, what, you liked maybe skateboarding when you were in 3rd grade, and now you liked, basketball in 8th grade. And, your interests change as you grow, as you see other things, get exposed to other things. In college, this is what it's about. What is interesting you? What are you leaning into? What is it that you're starting to study and go, I really want to go down this path of learning more about X, Y, and Z, what your major is, right? What you love. You're developing skills and talents, and you have more that you may not even understand what they are, what they're labeled, or why you do the things you do, and why you have the ability to see certain numbers or space or, idea generation the way you do. Those are all great things that you're bringing to a career, right? That an employer wants. But the other big thing we want you to understand when you're making a career choice is, what is the work environment like? What lifestyle will I have while I'm pursuing this career? Do I want to be an ER doctor where I'm going to be on call and I'd be working nights and weekends and it's going to be a variable schedule for a long, long time? Is it important that you have a more regular lifestyle? Do you want a more 9 to 5? Because your time on the weekends and your recreation and maybe other passions that you have to fit those in your life, right? If money is really important to you, then you're going to have to think about, what can I study and what career is going to get me to those monetary goals and those things that I want. Maybe I don't want to drive, my 1997 Jetta anymore. Maybe I want to have a newer car more of the time, right? Or the toys and the bikes and things that, again, no judgment. It's just how you want to live your life, right? Knowing these things about yourself is not your advisor really can't help you. That's an internal thing, right? And knowing that your life, where you are when you graduate, 21, 22, right, is going to be different at 31, 32. Maybe you want to start having kids, and maybe that lifestyle you have, and what your job requires of you might have to be tweaked if you have other things you have to start balancing, like relationships or children or other goals that you have, travel, right? Whatever the case may be. So the skills and the interests are great, but know that you have some yeses and nos that you may have to face for yourself and say, yeah, I don't want to be in a suit all day. That's not who I am. I want to have more realistic lifestyle where I'm kind of maybe outside and inside. Maybe I mix it up a little bit. Maybe that's why a civil engineer who gets to go out in the field and do testing and looking at and working on the bridges, as opposed to someone who's, I'm okay. I can do research all day, 8 hours a day by myself. I'm quiet. I'm introverted, right? Knowing sort of your personality, all these different things also come into play when you're looking at the right career choice. So, there's a lot of different important components that you don't have the answers now, and you're not supposed to have it all now. But this college experience and meeting people and going through your classes and just interacting over the next 4 or 5 years of your life, you're going to start honing in on what those things are.
And I think, like, career choice, I think of my story, I was a public health major, and I didn't even really know what that meant, but I was taking classes and I loved what I was learning, but I also was becoming a tour guide on my college campus. And I loved that world of admissions. I loved giving tours to the families, meeting with them, having lunch with them, and kind of sharing my experience. And I thought never once did I ever think an admissions counselor was a job that I could do, or even what I'm doing now as a career and education counselor. But I started doing more tours and I got really involved in the admissions at my college, and they gave me an internship and I was the lead of programs. And then I realized, oh, I could do this for my job after. But that's not something I would have ever learned in my classrooms. That's not something that anyone ever told me was even okay. I just didn't know. So again, as we said, like you can find these things, and a lot of it, is just trial and error and figuring out what works. If I would have never thought, oh, I should kind of make my resume look good for my future, I would have never became a tour guide. And then, following that out. So it is a really cool experience. And again, just keep an open mind, as I've been saying every time I talk, but there's so many opportunities on a college campus and doors open that you don't even know are there.
I love that story. So what else can you do, right? Right now you are, I'm assuming we're talking to a bunch of rising high school seniors, right? And or parents. Start researching careers, look into different majors. You can do that kind of research online. Go to colleges, visit, say, I'm thinking of studying XYZ. Can I go meet with the dean of this college? Can I have an interview with a professor, right? Get a sense of that. Use your network. If you have a family friend or a relative or like maybe your one of your parents has a coworker and you want to say, what do you like about your job? I think it's kind of cool. Tell me more about what you do. Or mom, dad, like, what do you do? How did you get there? How, like, what made you decide that? What was your experience like? Like, these are great conversations to have, because then it'll open your mind to what they went through. Then they're realizing, wow, you're facing the same thing we had to chat. Like, they can be your greatest source of advice and support and information on how to approach it with the right attitude and their understanding that, yeah, you don't have to know everything right now. There's a lot of ways to just kind of start looking around, talk to your counselors, go on those college tours. When the colleges come to your school, if there's like mini college fairs, by all means, take those brochures and then start looking up, what do these schools offer? Because you're going to realize, if you didn't already do the applying with us at your school, there's a lot of components that go into picking the right college, but also knowing that if there's certain majors or things you think you're interested in, see if those schools that you are considering offer majors in a general area, right? So if you are thinking of healthcare, how much healthcare is there? If you are thinking of engineering, if you are thinking of general majors like communications or business administration or teaching or sociology, like history, you're going to find a lot of those majors at a lot of colleges. So then you can think, all right, where do I want to be? What's the value in that? Should I spend a lot of money on a psychology or communications degree if I see maybe I can spend less here and have the same value, but the really cool experience on this campus, right? So depending on what you're approaching, and guess what? That's what we do, guys. We can help you have these conversations, you with your family, your parents, help you kind of hone in a little bit. We are here to help your counselors, help you make these decisions. So just know that we're here to kind of help you hone in a little bit once this, presentation is done.
And when you're on these college tours, definitely ask the student tour guide kind of their story. Ask if they know anyone in the majors that you're thinking about. I bet they have a friend or know of someone who's in that major and has this fun story on what they're doing, or kind of can explain more about the major. So always ask to speak to a student, whether it's, through email, or if you're on campus, sometimes they can set that up for you. Also, when you're attending in the fall, you're probably getting tons of emails right now from colleges kind of every day. But as you get into the fall, you'll get a lot with open house events. And typically in these events, there's going to be the department heads of each major and minors going to be there. So you can go up and ask questions. Sometimes they'll have breakout sessions where you can just go hear about the major. So do all of that, especially if you are kind of still deciding on, I don't know if this is even something I'm considering, but go and listen to that professor talk and see is this something I want to look at this school or maybe another school? So again, just ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions, and definitely always reach out to the admissions counselor at that college or university, and see if you can speak to a student. They've been through exactly what you're going through now. They are in hopefully, you know, first or second year of college, so they can kind of guide you through that process as well.
Nice. So it's easy for us to talk, right? It's easy for us to say, don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine. You have skills, you have abilities. Well, guess what? Granite Advance is partnered with an organization called U-Science, and it's a really amazing program. It's a tool, a software program. It's AI that allows you to learn more about your aptitudes and your abilities, your inherent strengths, your inherent skills. Like I said, you may not know you have, or you may know you have them, but you didn't know why you have them or why your brain works the way it does, right? So we encourage you, if you're interested, because this is really helping a lot of students understand more about who they are, what their inherent skills are, what their strengths are. And the nice thing about this is it says, well, guess what? These are different career paths that use those strengths and skills in different combinations. So it opens up a world of possibilities to potential careers that you may not know you are good at or could be good at. Obviously, it's got to be something you're also interested in. So you're going to take some brain games and some aptitude skill questions, and it's going to mix it up with a little bit of interest questions. And it's going to create this amazing report on who you are. The nice thing about it is we have some in-house counselors that are trained on doing walkthroughs with U-Science, so we can help you understand how to interpret these results and how to use this tool to help you make decisions. Obviously, if it's going to say you could be a middle school principal or you could be an archaeologist, it will back into, okay, well, these are the kinds of majors that those people tend to study in college, and this is how many years of education it would take. And you could even start experimenting and looking into colleges that offer those majors. So it's a pretty robust and broad program, but know that we can give you access to this aptitude and interest sort of exploration tool for free. So by all means, you can use the QR code or just give us a call and we can set up that appointment, give you access to the license and the games, and then have a lot of fun walking through the results with you, because like I said, some people are using it as a pretty eye-opening opportunity to get a little more focused and a little more positive about their opportunities and where they might be able to go. So by all means, please do not hesitate to reach out to us and we'll get you access to this U-Science program, okay?
It's a really cool thing. I took it about a year ago, and I've taken other career tests and things like that. So I was just doing it to kind of see what it was like. And when you're doing it, you're like, why am I doing this? It doesn't make sense. You're like, I'm supposed to be answering questions about myself. But what it comes out with is really cool information, and it was spot on for me. So definitely, if you've taken others in the past, like, see how this compares, because it is a cool thing to kind of see. And then you can also change like the jobs that it careers that it gives you. You can change if you're only looking maybe for a certification program, you can filter that. If you're looking for, you know, master's degree, you can filter that. So it really shows all different levels. So you don't have to know exactly, oh, I'm going to a 4-year school. You can kind of see what's out there.
Yeah, it kind of says, what would you be good at? And then it tells you what the path is. So you might not realize there are different paths and different educational requirements for different careers as well. So it may say that 4-year college is not necessary if you're looks like you'd be really successful in this kind of thing. Now you can experiment, you can go do those informational interviews, you can go talk to people, right? And seek them out and say, maybe this is something I should consider, something you've never even thought about. So it's a lot of fun. So anyway, I think we're kind of wrapping it up. Know that we are here, Lily, myself, we have other counselors that work throughout the state of New Hampshire. We all do basically the same thing. We can talk about, you know, career and aptitude exploration options, exploring your pathways. Where do you think you want to go? Is this major right for me? How do I start this application process? How do I consider colleges? Financial aid and all the required forms and understanding how to get those done and filled out appropriately. We can help with any of those. These are all free appointments, guys. You can call us, make an appointment. You can go on our website. there's a lot of ways to contact us, and know that we are here for you individually. So these nice broad presentations are great, but when you're coming to us with your questions and your family's thoughts about what should I do, and where should I go, and how do I make these decisions, know that we are here for you. And all this is free service for anywhere you are in your pathway discussion. Okay.
And we'll have these presentations all summer long, so definitely go onto our website under the college upcoming events, and then it'll say College Prep Series. We have about 2 a month, and kind of going over everything you need to be working on this summer. We'll go over how to use the Common App. We'll talk about how to present yourself to the colleges in a good light. We kind of do it all this summer, and we'll also do college essay prep later on in the summer as well. So just keep checking that. You should have got some communication, but again, on our website, we'll have all the information that you need.
And tell your friends.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to end the recording. And then if you guys have any questions, I'll let you take a minute or two to come up with anything. And we certainly will answer any questions that you might have.